Welcome back to Meghan and Harry Tales. I'm Adrian, and today we're diving into a brand new round of headlines that are once again trying to dissect, divide, and ultimately downplay Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. The latest comes from PR strategist Edward Coram-James, who claims that Harry and Meghan's biggest problem is each other, or rather, the fact that they come as what he calls a package deal. He argues that if they separated their brands, Harry focusing only on his military and charitable work, Meghan on her Hollywood and lifestyle projects, they'd have an easier time winning over the public and moving away from the so-called royal drama narrative. But here's the question I want us to really explore today. Is their partnership really the problem? Or is it in fact the very reason there's such a force in the world right now? We're going to examine the criticism, look at successful celebrity power couples who've thrived together, analyse what the data actually shows about their joint ventures, and explore why this narrative keeps surfacing. Stay tuned, because we're breaking it all down. Let's start with what was actually said, and more importantly, what wasn't said. Edward Coram-James, CEO of a PR firm called GoUp, told Express.co.uk that Meghan and Harry's joint brand is a conflict of interest that confuses the public and provides an easy target for criticism. He argues that separating their brands would give audiences clearer storylines and allow the couple to move away from royal drama and focus on building their individual legacies. Now, on paper, that might sound reasonable. Harry and Meghan are indeed different people, with different passions and different skill sets. Harry thrives in humanitarian spaces, mental health advocacy, and military veteran support. Meghan has a sharp eye for media production, Hollywood networking, lifestyle content, and women's empowerment initiatives. But here's what I find fascinating about this critique. It assumes that the public is somehow incapable of understanding that two people can be both individuals and partners. It treats their marriage and professional collaboration like it's some kind of branding mistake, rather than, how most successful couples actually operate. Think about this for a second. When was the last time you heard someone say that Barack and Michelle Obama should separate their brands? Or that they were confused by Chip and Joanna Gaines working together? What about power couples in business like Melinda and Bill Gates during their marriage? Or in entertainment like Beyoncé and Jay-Z? The difference is telling. Other couples are celebrated for their partnership. Harry and Meghan are criticised for theirs. And here's the kicker. The Sussexes already do operate in separate lanes much of the time. Meghan has her individual projects, whether it's her podcast Archetypes, her new Netflix cooking show With Love, Meghan, or her business ventures. Harry has Invictus Games, Travelist, his work with mental health charities, and his various speaking engagements focused on veterans and social impact. They have their separate lanes, absolutely, but they also come together as a united front when it serves their shared mission. So, why does the media pretend this is some kind of existential branding crisis? I think the answer lies not in their branding strategy, but in the discomfort some people feel when they see a couple who refuse to fit into traditional, hierarchical roles. Here's where I want to completely flip this narrative, what the critics call a problem. Supporters, and frankly the market itself, sees as a massive strength. Harry and Meghan are not two celebrities who just happen to be married. They built their entire post-royal identity on the concept of true partnership. The idea that they are a package deal isn't confusing, it's revolutionary. Let's look at the numbers. Their Netflix deal in 2020, worth a reported $100 million, was signed precisely because of their joint star power. Netflix didn't want just Harry or just Meghan, they wanted the Sussex brand. Together they produced Harry and Meghan, which became one of Netflix's most watched documentary series ever, breaking viewing records in multiple countries, but it goes deeper than just entertainment success. Their joint approach sends a powerful message about modern relationships and shared purpose. When Harry speaks at Invictus Games, Meghan's presence in the audience isn't just supportive, it demonstrates that his work matters to their family unit. When Meghan launches her lifestyle projects, Harry's support shows that her ambitions are valued equally in their partnership. This model of true partnership is actually quite rare in public life. Think about most political couples. Typically, one person is the politician and the other is the supportive spouse. Think about most celebrity marriages. Usually one person is the star and the other takes a back seat. Harry and Meghan reject that hierarchy entirely. Neither one is the supporting player in the other's story. They're co-leads in their own joint narrative. And you know what? The market rewards this approach. Their Archwell Foundation has secured major partnerships and funding. Their media ventures continue to find platforms and audiences. Their speaking engagements command top fees. If their package deal approach was really such a branding disaster, would major corporations and platforms keep betting on them? Now, let's talk about what this partnership actually looks like in practice. When they appear together at events, they don't just stand side by side looking pretty. They engage as equals. Meghan might introduce Harry's work. Harry might champion Meghan's initiatives. They share the microphone, literally and figuratively. This isn't just good marriage dynamics, it's smart business. In an era where authenticity matters more than ever, the fact that Harry and Meghan's professional partnership mirrors their personal partnership makes their brand more credible, not less. Let's take a moment to look at other successful couples who've made their partnerships their brand. Chip and Joanna Gaines built an empire around their joint brand. Magnolia Network, their home goods line, their multiple TV shows, all of it trades on the chemistry and complementary skills they bring as a couple. Nobody suggests they should separate their brands. Michelle and Barack Obama have continued to work together post-presidency through their Higher Ground production company, their joint book deals, and their shared speaking engagements. Their partnership is seen as aspirational, not confusing. Even in the entertainment world, look at couples like Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, who frequently support each other's projects and appear together in campaigns. Or historically, couples like Johnny Cash and June Carter, whose artistic collaboration was inseparable from their personal relationship. The difference isn't in the strategy, it's in how the media chooses to frame it. Other couples are portrayed as relationship goals when they work together. Harry and Meghan are portrayed as having a branding problem. This double standard reveals more about media bias than it does about effective branding strategy. And here's something else to consider. Harry and Meghan's joint brand actually allows them to tackle bigger, more complex issues than they could individually. Their work around digital wellness, for example, combines Harry's mental health advocacy with Meghan's understanding of media and technology. Their approach to humanitarian work blends his military background with her entertainment industry connections. Separately, they're impressive individuals. Together, they're a force multiplier. Let's be completely honest here. The problem isn't Harry and Meghan's branding strategy. The problem is the media's inability to move past the palace narrative. The royal drama narrative that Edward Coram-James talks about isn't something Meghan and Harry are creating or perpetuating. It's something certain sections of the British press refuse to let go of because it generates clicks, sells papers and drives engagement. Every single thing they do gets filtered through this lens. Meghan launches a cooking show. The headlines ask if it's a dig at Kate's gardening interests. Harry speaks about mental health. The coverage focuses on whether he mentioned his father or brother. They appear at an event together. It's analysed as either a strategic move or a sign of desperation. It doesn't matter how separate their individual projects are. It doesn't matter how focused they stay on their charitable work. The narrative will always try to loop back to palace intrigue because that's what certain outlets think sells. But here's what's interesting. This strategy is actually backfiring. The more the media tries to frame everything through a royal lens, the more obvious it becomes that Harry and Meghan have moved on to building something entirely different. And the public is starting to notice. Social media comments increasingly call out articles that try to manufacture drama where none exists. Younger audiences especially seem to see through the manufactured controversy. Separating their brands won't change any of this. The media will still try to create palace drama out of thin air. The only thing that will change it is time for Harry and Meghan to keep producing meaningful work, building their businesses, and demonstrating their value outside the royal context. And if their projects continue to succeed, which they are the media's favourite talking point that they only trade on royal drama, starts to crumble. Here's what gets lost in all the branding criticism. Harry and Meghan are actually succeeding by every measurable metric. Let's just look at this month alone. The Sussexes secured a fresh Netflix deal. Yes, it's reportedly a scaled-back first-look agreement compared to the $100 million blockbuster from 2020. But here's what actually matters. Netflix still wants them. Despite years of negative coverage, despite constant predictions of their downfall, the platform recognizes that Harry and Meghan deliver audiences and content that people want to watch. Harry and Meghan broke viewership records. Meghan's With Love Meghan is already generating significant buzz and media coverage before it even premieres. Harry's upcoming projects, especially around Invictus Games, continue to shine a global spotlight on veterans' issues and recovery. Their Arkwell Foundation is funding real initiatives that make real differences in people's lives. Their media work is creating conversations about important social issues. Their business ventures are successful enough that major corporations continue to seek partnerships with them. That's not the profile of a failed brand. That's not what happens when your branding strategy is fundamentally flawed. That's momentum, pure and simple. But you won't hear much about these successes in the mainstream coverage because success stories don't generate the same kind of engagement as crisis narratives. The truth is, while critics debate whether Harry and Meghan should separate their brands, the couple is already demonstrating they can work together and apart and succeed in both configurations. That's not a branding problem. That's brand versatility. So here's my final take. Harry and Meghan don't need to fix their branding because their branding isn't broken. Their strength lies precisely in the balance they've achieved as individuals with powerful, distinct voices, and as a couple who represent resilience, equality, and what modern partnership can look like in the public eye. The critics might call their joint approach a problem. I call it their superpower. In a world that's hungry for authenticity, for real partnership, for couples who support each other's dreams rather than competing with them, Harry and Meghan are actually ahead of the curve. What do you think? Should Meghan and Harry distance themselves professionally to please the critics, or does their joint brand make them stronger and more impactful? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss a new episode of Meghan and Harry Tales. Thanks for watching. I'm Adrian and I'll see you next time.